Welcome to Breaking Par with Bernard Sheridan, the golf podcast that interviews the best and brightest minds in the golf industry. Now, here's your host, Bernard Sheridan.
Peter, welcome to Breaking Par. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about your history and when you first picked up a golf club.
That is actually kind of interesting. I first picked up a golf club when I was about 4 or 5 years old, kind of the standard story. Went on a vacation with my family, and my dad wanted to play golf, so pretty much a cart boy gave me a cut-down 5-iron on a vacation in Florida. Whacked that around a little bit, and I, for the next 10 years, played just about every other sport under the sun. Played a lot of hockey, lacrosse, soccer, ran cross country, and then in high school I had a bunch of buddies that were caddies and played golf for my high school golf team. And my freshman year in high school, I played lacrosse. Then we had a couple different days where they would practice, and I wasn't practicing with the lacrosse team, so they invited me out to play, and kind of caught the bug that following summer. Dropped lacrosse and hockey, and my sophomore year through my senior year, I played on the golf team. I caught the bug about as badly as anyone could.
So what then led you to get into the business? I mean, of course you loved golf and you loved to play, but what made you decide to try to pursue it as a career?
When I was, I think I was about 16, I started caddying at a course in New Jersey where I grew up called the Montclair Golf Club, and caddied there for 5 years, really 5 seasons. I caddied there in the summers and falls in high school, and then when I was in college, caddied there as well. I also want to add, I played Division III golf for Roanoke College in Roanoke, Virginia, and did not. I'll be honest, I did not play quite as well as I would have liked to. I kind of reached my challenge point and didn't quite know how to overcome it. So I didn't play quite as well, but continued through caddying. Had the opportunity to play some rounds on our days off with some assistant pros and kind of talk to them about the golf industry. And the head pro at the Montclair Golf Club was kind enough to help me get an internship at Ridgewood Country Club. That is the pro that helped me out. His name was Mike Sturlocker. And just to give golf a shot, see what it was like to just get out of the caddy shack and teach, do a little bit of merchandising, and I just fell in love with it. Actually, one thing that is cool is there was this one kid at Ridgewood Country Club during my first internship. The kid loved to play piano, didn't want to be at sports summer camp. He wanted to be at home playing his piano, and one time towards the end of camp, he hit a shot, turned around to me, and said, "Oh, that's the best shot I've ever hit." And like that, I was hooked. I knew what I was doing. At that point, I was 22 when that happened, and I was like, this is what I was meant to do, is to share and help people enjoy being outside, just like I like to be outside.
Yeah, it's when that first moment happens, and that first kid, and I think for almost all of us who instruct, it was a kid, because when we start teaching, we usually start with juniors to get our feet wet, to start to understand how to be a better instructor. And then we, of course, watch our mentors and watch what they do with adults, and then start to work our way up to that. And I know that's how it happened with me too. And I kind of I didn't start real early like you did. I actually started late in life, but I always played sports. And when I got that bug, I just wanted to take off with it, and I actually taught guitar and bass before that when I was in my 20s.
Nice.
And always felt very rewarded when they would get songs down and they would play, and they were happy about it. And to me, that was like, this is awesome. I mean, just to be able to help somebody get to where they want to be faster. And then it ended up for me to just end up in golf. Same as you. And I really think that once that happens, it's that little light bulb goes off in your head, and you know that like all you want to do is just help people get better, and it's just really a cool feeling, and it's a great career because you're always giving back. You're always giving back.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, I mean, I know not everyone is, but I'd love to get up in the morning and go to work and and try to help people. Whether that's a kid, someone who's just trying to hit the ball in the air for the first time, or help someone out drop their putts or per round from 31 to 29, whatever it is. It's just fun to help people.
Absolutely. So where are you doing that now?
Currently, I am a teaching professional at Roanoke Country Club in Roanoke, Virginia. So I came down to Southwest Virginia for college from New Jersey and kind of just never left. Met my wife there, and we've lived here in Roanoke now for about eight years. I had to kind of work my way up through at Roanoke Country Club, had an internship there, which turned into a second assistant position. Then I was offered the opportunity to run the junior golf program, and grew the number of juniors playing, particularly younger juniors, kind of junior high and particularly elementary level. Grew that number at the club and was offered the opportunity to work with juniors full time, and I kind of jumped on that opportunity to switch from operations or a mix of operations and teaching to teaching and programming full time, which has been an absolute pleasure.
So, and you're U.S. Kids Golf Coach certified, yes?
Correct.
So, how do you like that program, and how do you think that is really helping kids more than ever enjoy the sport of golf?
I'm a really big proponent for U.S. Kids. I think it kind of in a couple aspects. First of all, the seminar I went to, which was now, 2.5, 3 years ago, was absolutely fantastic. It was the first kind of continuing education I did outside of the PGA apprentice program, and got to really network, meet some phenomenal people, and kind of being down here in Southwest Virginia, we don't always get population smaller. Not everyone kind of gets out of town often enough, and but I got to meet some phenomenal professionals from the DC, Philadelphia, and New Jersey area. Seminar was up in Philly, and from there, I implemented their learning program at the course that I work at Roanoke Country Club. And I ran that for 2 years, which was great. Provided some structure to our junior golf program, which we really needed, particularly for the younger kids. Allowed some of the kids to see a path, kind of see the next few steps, instead of just showing up to clinics or going to a private lesson with where Joey and Johnny come to the range for half an hour, and then they go to the pool. It actually provided some structure with the booklet and curriculum that not only the kids could see, but the parents could see, so they knew where things were going. So I've actually been really happy with being involved with the U.S. Kids. I think they're definitely making steps in the right directions, and now you can I can see it with other junior golf programs that people have taken that U.S. Kids model and kind of some of the stuff that the First Tee has been doing. There's a program I actually just implemented called Operation 36 that I've used to replace the U.S. Kids program. We still use U.S. Kids tees and everything like that, but it kind of piggybacked and took some of those concepts and expanded it a bit. So I'm really excited. This will be my first full year of using that learning program in 2017. So I'm really looking forward to for the season to start by about mid-March.
Yeah, and that's about, well, for us down here, we're like in full swing right now. Mm-hmm. Our season starts January, really, and runs through April. Most people think that Florida is the type of state where you play golf year-round. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't, at least in this area. So we're in Southwest Florida, in Naples area. And really around April, May, everything just kind of dies down. And the only thing that's going in the summer or, late spring, early summer is junior programs, because they're really the only ones who are resilient enough to make it through the summer heat down here. But it's really not as heat-wise, not as bad as most people think. I might be a little bit immune to it now. I've been here for about a year and a half, and I think that once you go through a summer here, you realize that it's all not that all different than it is up north. Humidity's a little bit higher. It might be over 90 more days in a row than it might be, let's say, in Roanoke or in Philadelphia, where I used to be. But I can remember many, many summers in Philadelphia, it being 90 plus for over 40, 50 days. And it really didn't seem any different to me at all.
Oh, it gets
and there were people golfing through that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's, do you find that the bulk of, what's the bulk of your season, and when does it run through, and when do you find is the most business in your season?
So for me, we are technically a 12-month facility. Just actually like this past week, a week ago, we had snow and ice in the ground, and then it warmed up and it was in the low 60s, and we got the golf course open. It was a little wet, but people were playing golf. So we consider ourselves a 12-month of the year facility. But really our primo golf season is April through October. That's where we are that's when the majority of our warmer weather, humidity will get up a bit, but warmer weather, kind of better snow and rain conditions, if you will. And that's when we do the majority of our rounds, and I do the majority of my teaching. I'm very lucky that we have a pretty large indoor training facility where I work. So we are able to teach 12 months of the year, which is a real bonus considering that's my job full time now. But that's when we do the majority of our rounds. That's and people's mindset around here is golf is something you play maybe mid-March or April 1 through Halloween or Thanksgiving, and then kind of like back in like Philly or Jersey, where people put the sticks down and then they start playing basketball or hockey or whatever it may be. They have a similar mindset here, despite being so far south.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you can relate to that, being from North Jersey. It's almost right next door to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I know that for me, I had an indoor facility in Philadelphia, so I was fortunate enough to keep things going throughout the winter. I was a proponent and probably a driver in the Philadelphia area of trying to get people involved to do stuff in the off season, just because they found that if they did that, when they started back up, they really were playing a lot better. There wasn't that downtime.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's what I try to relay to parents, particularly whether your kid is created some new programs over the last year. I'm actually working with one of the tennis professionals where I work, so we teach on the tennis courts, and we do classes rather for really young kids, ages 3 through 6. Keep them active, keep them playing a little bit of golf. We use snag equipment and limited flight balls, and then they play some tennis so they're ready for the next year. And I try to relay that to parents that, you don't have to be as dedicated. I'm not asking you to come to the golf course 3-4 days a week. Now, I mean, if you want to, that's awesome. But just to kind of keep golf in mind, come out when we have warm weather, play a little bit, whether it's lessons, coming out to the kids going out to play with their mom or dad, just kind of keep playing through the year, because you will see the big impacts at the beginning of the season in particular, when a lot of kids are knocking the rust off because they spent the winter playing, say, basketball. You're coming back and you've been hitting the ball at least decently well, working on your swing and game, so you can just get out there and play. Yeah.
So you do the majority of your teaching was with juniors, correct?
Correct.
So a couple questions about that. I used to work with juniors a lot, and now that I'm in Florida, I don't work with juniors quite as much. There's a couple of other people in our outfit that are more involved with juniors than I am. I get the opportunity sometimes, and so of course parents sometimes are overbearing, and are really trying to get the kids to do it more than they want to do it, I guess, sometimes. And then there's other times where kids really want to do it a lot, and their parents aren't as receptive to that. What do you run into the most, and when you do, what is your solution to that?
I've been pretty lucky that I'd say the membership where I work and the parents of kids who are non-members have been pretty great. Actually, one kind of funny story is I had a parent come to me this past spring and apologize to me that their child wasn't playing golf throughout the entire winter, and I kind of just laughed. And I have a background. I'm TPI level 2 certified as a junior coach, and I kind of was like, they were playing basketball. It's great. They were playing sports all winter. But for the most part, it's I run into parents who aren't quite sure about programs, whether it's the right choice or that the kids are moving in the right direction. And I've just learned that all I can do as an instructor is be open and honest and educated about what I am coaching. So whether that's a junior clinic or a summer camp, or maybe I created this winter some weekend junior golf schools, which is just you spend an afternoon in our indoor facility if the weather's bad, or we go outside if the weather's a little bit warmer, and letting them know why this may benefit their junior. And you know what? I've just learned that some people, even if you tell them all the kind of the correct things, all you can do is be honest. It might not fit with their schedule, and that's fine. As we actually discussed before we came on, there are a lot of people that play golf, and not every coach and not every junior is right for every single program. So I have run into some people that they don't necessarily fit with my programming, and so I've had no issue suggesting another program with another instructor or another golf course to make sure their kid plays golf. Because I mean, in the end, we're all in this to have more people playing golf.
No, absolutely. I know we were discussing that before, and that's why we have this show, is to share as much knowledge for people in the industry and for people who just love the game. I have a lot of listeners and people who view it on YouTube who really aren't involved in instruction or don't do it as a profession in any way, shape, or form. They are just players who are trying to learn information and how they can get better, and also just love to listen to things about golf. And that's why they either view it or listen to it through iTunes or Google Play or any of those other formats that we're on. So how long have you been doing this now? And like, when did you start exactly? How long have you been at Roanoke? And
so I have come in May. I will have been at Roanoke Country Club for 4 years. At the beginning of May, which is kind of hard to believe. To be honest, I didn't think I thought I was going to be an intern there and then kind of move on to another course that had become potentially back where I grew up. And I've been working different jobs in the golf industry now for 10 years. As I started out working as a caddy. I spent 5 years caddying full time. Then I had 2 summer internships where I got the opportunity to caddy as well as teach junior camps and junior clinics, which was really the big kind of aha moment for me. And that's when I realized that I wanted to do whatever I needed to do to start teaching more. And I have been now teaching full time for a year, which was a little bit of a shock at first. My job wasn't to fold shirts and book tea times, but to teach kids and create new programs and draw people to the golf course. So it's been an absolute blast. I still have a tough time believing that it's my job.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? I mean, it's so great to be able to not wait to get to work, and when the day is over, you can't believe that it's over. I know that sometimes it's not that way. Sometimes we're tired and we're like, oh boy, I wish this was over. But that's few and far between, that's for sure. So when you're working with these juniors, are you using any kind of technology to when you're working with them, or not as much because of their because you're more doing stuff out on the range or on the course?
I've found that I don't use quite as much technology as I'd say maybe that I'm interested in.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I really enjoy teaching putting. So with adults, I don't hesitate at all to put them on a Sam Putt Lab and see how they're doing. Or one of my coworkers has a flight scope. So that actually have used with the juniors to do like long drive contests and stuff like that. But with kids, I try to keep it a little bit more minimal with technology outside of video. I take swing video a lot, but I've also found that they just want to see what their golf swings look like. They're not really worried about, say, positions or where they are at the top or what their grip looks like. They want to see how they swing a club when they hit their high shot or whatever, or they really boomed one out there.
Sure.
But real big thing for me is being mobile. So making sure that I can take a kid from the range to our short game facility to the golf course, that we can get around, and that I don't have to worry about cleanup for, say, for like a flight scope or for like a body track, things that do take a minute or two, because that minute or two might be an extra couple putts on the golf course. So I found that I use a lot of equipment that I saw when I was in like PE in middle school. Use a lot of sporting equipment, soccer balls, footballs, frisbees, agility ladders, things that don't take a lot of setup, but still kind of drive the point home that I'm trying to make, which with the really younger kids is more athletic movement and athletic development. And so for class with 3 to 6 year olds, one activity might be like bear crawls or an obstacle course, or we're warming up throwing a frisbee or a football, and they're working on hand-eye coordination and really developing the motor skills that are needed to be a good golfer down the road. I'm personally I could put a 6-year-old on a Sam Putt Lab and we could analyze their putting stroke, but when their strokes are so unbelievably different, I just want them to it's almost pointless in my mind. I want them to understand why the ball breaks right to left on the green and how they can read that, or why this putt came up short and the other one went past the hole. So that by the time, because I'm not looking to have the best 6-year-old in the world, I want that golfer to play golf for a long time, and B, if they want to pursue golf at a more competitive level, be ready in junior high, high school, and college when it really counts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know that I was thinking more of like 12 to 15-year-old juniors.
Okay, gotcha.
for the technology stuff. And then I was pretty much on that, and I didn't really make that clear, but
Gotcha.
And that's why I was just asking, do you use any kind of technology at all with your
Yeah,
juniors?
with 12 to 15-year-olds, it's a little bit more, but so I don't really hesitate to put them on a launch monitor if needed. Sam Putt Lab, I still kind of reserve that for more advanced and older.
Sure.
Really, it's more advanced students. They could be 15, but for advanced students, I like to just get them out there playing the game of golf, because there's one of my favorite sayings, and I don't know where I heard this, because I'm sure I didn't make it up, but we don't play driving range, we play golf. We're out on the golf course. So I spend a lot of time on the golf course, and I do break down swing video with kind of junior high age kids. I want to make sure they know why their swing is doing what it's doing, why maybe a grip change or a slight change in their posture is happening. But I still try to avoid them being reliant on technology too much, because it's what they do in their regular life. They're out playing. I had a ton of people trying to play Pokemon Go this past season and things like that.
Sure.
So they're walking around like trying to find Pokemon, and I'm thinking like, hey, there's a hawk right there. That's pretty interesting, and there's some absolutely beautiful grass that are ground screwed. So I love tech as much as anybody, but I think it can. I like to bring them into it slowly, so they're not dependent on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that that there's a time and a place for tech, and that the real object, especially with juniors, is to get them outside, away from technology, because, like you said, they're always on their cell phone, or they're on a Game Boy or a PlayStation or Xbox or whatever at home. Get them out there, get them active, get them physical, and get them involved in playing the sport on the course, and just having a good time.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing things around the range in that area, and you have let's say a group of kids, are you doing more game type stuff, game oriented things, contests, things like that, to keep them competitive, and to get them a little bit more interested and focused?
Yes, I'm a big fan of having juniors play games, particularly in groups. So if they have either players there that are their friends that are the same age, or players of a similar skill level, I like to have them playing games against each other. So one of the things that I enjoy is kind of just setting up learning, is like training environments. So if we have a large group of kids, I'll set up stations. We'll have a couple golf professionals, or in the case of the summer camp, some camp counselors as well, running different stations that it may look like they're goofing off to the untrained eye, but it's all to develop a skill that they're going to need throughout their golfing career. So I have kids play bowling on this really undulated part of our driving range. It's just a soccer ball and some like PE cones that are like, I don't know, about 9 inches tall.
Yep.
But they're learning about break and how the ball rolls across the surface. And I love kids competing against each other. And when you can, even everyone's motivated differently. And when you can kind of find that one kid's motivation, let's say it is competition, games and competition, and not just beating balls in the driving range, hitting high cuts, low cuts, stingers, low draw, whatever it may be, and competing against his friends is what kind of gets him up in the morning. I want to make sure that kid's in a competitive environment. There's some kids that don't thrive in that. They're looking for fun, and that's when I try to get kind of creative and sneak in some fundamentals that they may not see are part of the game, but in reality, they're learning how to hit or club face control, learning how to hit wedges left of target, straight through to target, and right of target, or hitting draws and fades. And I like to get kind of sneaky, because not all kids want to just learn how to hit great shots. And sneaky might be kind of a funny word, but as part of really part of my job that I enjoy, I learned a lot from a book called Actionable Gamification by Yu-Kai Chow, that talked about the 8 core drives that people have to lead towards success. So do they thrive on a group mentality, or a higher calling, potentially? And that really changed the way I teach golf a lot. Even it's not a golf book, but that really changed the way I teach juniors in particular.
No, that's great, because that answers one of our questions that we usually are going to start doing now at the end, and is what are your favorite books on either the sport or on motor skills, or whatever it may be, that you think helped you become a better teacher? Is there any other books that you would recommend for anyone out there who would like to either play better, or learn how to teach this sport better?
Yeah, so a couple of my favorite books, Actionable Gamification it's a little thick, but it's definitely worth the read. Yu-Kai Chow also has a website where you can take a little like email course as well. A lot of options and some TED Talks. Always learned from whether it's picking up his book and reading it for 10 more minutes, or I'll go into his website. I have enjoyed, it's kind of all over the spectrum. What was it? Adam Young's Practice Manual was a book I enjoyed. A student of mine lent that to me, and I got to pick through it a bit. Just learning how to practice. I watch a lot of people waste time practicing, and if you can just learn how to optimize that half hour or hour that you do have, I think a lot of people will get a lot more out of their practice and a lot more out of their golf games. In terms of I mean, it's kind of almost hard to. I'm looking over at my bookshelf. I'm like, there are kind of a lot of them. Michael Jacobs' book that he came out with this past year was absolutely fantastic. I learned a lot about hand path and that.
Elements of the swing.
Yes. Yeah, elements of the swing. That's it. Yeah, that I learned a lot from that book. I mean, The Golfing Machine was one of the first books I read once I realized I wanted to teach, and that kind of made me realize that there isn't one golf swing, there isn't one method, the list kind of goes on and on. If you want to go books to subscription websites, it kind of.
Sure, and there's tons of things out there. So I always just like to get an idea so that way our audience has an understanding of some of the things that they might not know about. And since you're a professional, and what are you reading? And like, what are the pros reading? And what are they doing to better their game, to better other players' games? We always just like to know that information. So we're just about to wrap it up here. I wanted to thank you very much for being here. You were a great guest. You answered a lot of the questions that I think people want to know about junior programs. I know that that's your specialty, and it's just really a nice opportunity to get to meet you. I love meeting new people, and it's absolutely been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. I mean, I love any opportunity that I have to talk about golf, and in particular junior golf. So it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I really appreciate you having me on your show.
It's been great. So before we go, let's just give us some information for our audience as to how they can get in touch with you, whether it's by email or phone or website or any of those things.
Gotcha. Okay, I have a couple ways you can get in contact with me. If it's social media, I have at Peter Weisel Golf through Twitter and Instagram. I use both of those just about daily. That's Peter, Peter Weisel Golf. Then I also have a website, peterweiselgolf.com, that has a contact Peter section in the bottom. So feel free to shoot me a message. My email address is on there as well through work. And that's a really easy way to get in contact with me. Either three of those platforms are really easy ways to get in contact with me. If you've got any questions about junior golf, whether you're in Roanoke, Virginia, or out in Carlsbad, California, feel free to ask. I'm always willing to help people and point people in the right direction.
Great, Peter. Thanks again. And like we always say in parting, do your best to keep it in the short grass until we meet again.
All I can do is try.
You've been listening to Breaking Par with your host, Bernard Sheridan. Follow us on Twitter at Breaking Par and on Facebook at Par Breakers Golf Academy. Until next week, try to keep it on the short grass.